Good morning, third graders. I'm going to do a quick video going over the entire back side of your morning work from this week. So we'll start with Wordy Wednesday, and we're just going to go over this. If you've already done it, hopefully you've already done this one. Go ahead and just make corrections if needed. And then we're going to go over Thursday and Friday. Since we have a short week this week, we're going to do Thursday and Friday today. So hang with me. We have some spelling practice. This is just a review of some rules and spelling that you've probably already learned. This says rewrite the misspelled word on the line. This word here, even though it's spelled incorrectly, I can read that, is bottom. I have button and I have letter. And I noticed this the same thing about all three of these, and that is that they forgot to double their consonant in the middle of those words. So I have to go back and correct those. So bottom, I ate the bottom of my muffin first. Needs two T's. Same with button. I will button my jacket. Button needs two T's as well, as does letter. I will be writing you a letter soon. So go ahead and correct those if you need to. Over here we have a suffix. The character in my book is predictable. What does the word predictable mean? Now, if you'll remember, we've talked about suffixes. This word able, that was a vocabulary word. Able means to be able to do something, to make it someone able to do something. So predictable means it's able to be, that's right, predicted. So our correct answer there is able to be predicted. Actually, maybe our vocabulary word wasn't able. Maybe it was enable. All right, let's move down to Throwback Thursday. We have to edit a sentence that is written incorrectly. It says correct the sentence below by finding the, how many? 3 mistakes, and then we're going to rewrite it. Now again, as I always tell you in class, we need to start here and we need to write nice and small so we can fit all of our words on these lines. The sentence says, one reason we should have a bike riding program in our community is to reduce pollution. Now, I already see a mistake. First off, what does every sentence start with? That's right, a capital letter. One reason we should have a bike riding, ooh, that doesn't look right to me. What do you notice about this word? I believe this E needs to be taken out. Okay, so there's 1, 2. One reason we should have a bike riding program in our community. That doesn't look like the right word to me. This word is are, like you are able to do something. This word should be our, even though sometimes we say our. This is our bedroom. A lot of times we say that, but this is actually should be the word our, and that word should be spelled O-U-R. So there are 3 mistakes. Should I keep looking? Well, the directions said there are only 3, so I think we're good to go. So I'm going to start writing, and I'm going to make sure I'm writing nice and small and nice and neat. One reason remember, I'm going to take that E out of writing. A writing program in our, O-U-R, in our community. What does it mean to reduce pollution? What does reduce mean? Doesn't reduce mean to lessen or to make less? And pollution is just things that would go into the air that would cause us harm. That's something that it is kind of related to a holiday coming up in April called Earth Day. All right, that's on April 22nd. You should look that up. Okay, let's move on. We have plural nouns over here. Plural means more than one. Singular means one. Plural means more than one. I noticed that every one of these words end with a Y. And if you remember your rules for making plurals that end with Y, you remember that we have to change the Y to an, that's right, we have to change the Y to an I, and then we add ES. So story becomes stories. And these are all just common spellings. These are not I lost the word. All right, so country becomes countries. Party becomes parties. Penny becomes pennies, and baby becomes babies. All right, so those are just common plurals. Okay, I would ask if there are any questions. Do you have any questions? If you do, type them below. All right, I'm going through this kind of quickly. I don't want this to be a super long video. All right, down here we have Figurative Friday. And you remember on Figurative Friday, we're talking about figurative language. That's things like similes and metaphors. And here we have one called personification. And we have talked about this before. Personification, if you'll notice, has the word person in it. All right, so personification is when we're giving an object or an animal human-like characteristics. So we're saying that something is doing something that a human normally would do. Okay, so our directions, mercy sakes, there are no directions. It's asking, but I can see that I have a chart here, a graph, and it tells me a sentence, and I am assuming I'm going to say, is this personification or is it not personification? So, if I start reading this first sentence, Ray had difficulty sleeping because of the wind howling in the night. I see here that the wind is doing something. Wind is an inanimate object. It's not alive, but this sentence is telling us that the wind is doing something that normally a human might do. A human could howl. Normally it would be an animal, but a human could howl. So the wind is howling. So is that personification? Sure. Now this one uses the same word, howls. It says, my brother howls when you tickle his feet. But is my brother an object or an animal? No, my brother is a person. So this is not personification because this is talking about a person doing something that a person would normally do. So this is not personification. Because when I'm looking for personification, I'm looking for a description of an object or an animal. Here it says frogs are amphibians. Now, is a frog an animal? Yes, but is this sentence giving us an example of something that a frog would do that a human would normally do? No, it's telling us what frogs are and what classification we would give them. So that is not personification. Last one, the traffic crawled across the highway. Traffic is an object it's an object, it's not an animal. And who would normally crawl? A human. So is this personification? Yes. Okay, moving right along. Here we have a short passage to read, and we have a question that asks us what this figurative language means. Charlotte was the team captain on her soccer team. As the spring play approached, she was determined to get the lead role. That seems like a lot to take on, Charlotte, her mother warned. She assured her mom that she could handle it and was excited to see her name on the cast list. The next day at lunch, her friend Sarah asked how her science fair project was coming along. Oh no, she had completely forgotten about that. Charlotte began to think she had bitten off more than she could chew. The question says, what is meant by the underlined text above? If someone has bitten off more than they could chew, this is non-literal language. This is actually called an idiom. Idioms are phrases that don't mean what they sound like they mean. So she has bitten off more than she could chew. And if I think about what's happening in this text, I see that she is the captain of the soccer team, and then she wants to be in the play, and she has the science fair going on. She has a lot of things going on in her life, and she has so many things going on, in fact, that she forgets one of them and forgets one of her assignments. So if I look at these answer choices, bitten off more than she could chew does not mean that she put too much food in her mouth. That would be, if I took this literally, that might be the answer, but I know that this is non-literal language. The bite was so big that she couldn't chew it. Well, she didn't actually take a bite. What happened was she took on more than she could handle. Okay, so I'm going to, you know what? Before I circle that, I need to read D, because when I have a multiple choice question, I should always read every answer choice just to make sure, because you know that sometimes they try to trick us and they put in two answers that sound like they could be correct. D says she should try harder. Well, I think she's trying as hard as she can, but she has taken on so much that she can't handle it all. So if someone has bitten off more than they can chew, it just means that they are trying to do too much. All right, guys, it's Thursday. This is the last day of school before spring break. Enjoy your time off. If you have to take next week to finish up things that you haven't gotten completed, if your parents want you to do that, that's fine. But you guys also need to take some time off from school. I would ask you, however, to still keep reading, but read for fun. Don't read to write a summary, just read for fun. Go lay out in your yard and read. Go lay out on the porch and read. Go lay on your trampoline and read, like Phoebe's mom told me she does yesterday. Enjoy reading. Read for fun. I love you. Miss you. Bye.